I'm Jay.
Dylan.
Good to meet you.
Yeah, good to meet you too.
All right, good.
And where down we
Good.
Morning.
Good morning. So, it's been a lot of talk about this bill that's being voted on. It still have yet to be voted on.
Yeah.
And
Proposed, right?
proposed bill. That's the right word.
Yeah.
Proposed bill. And it's a lot of information going out that made us want to actually do some digging and some research.
Yeah. A lot of fake news.
A lot of fake news.
Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, discussing the issue, it seemed to be that, it's not that you're not going to have a license to do most barbering services. And I have a couple notes that I took. First of all, is the Senate Bill 354.
Okay.
All right.
So if you want to fact check us, do that.
Yeah.
Look it up.
Absolutely. Senate Bill 354.
Yep.
And it talks about removing certain requirements from certain beauty services.
Not the complete license.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So certain things they're removing a requirement to have a license. And I'm assuming that, because I haven't read any of the previous bills.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that, cosmetology and barbering, because it encompassed so much that you had to have a license to just work in the barbershop.
Yeah.
Or just work in a beauty salon.
Yeah. So it's the people that's maybe just doing shampoos or something like that was getting hit for not having a license, when really I kind of agree with what they're proposing, and you shouldn't really have to have a license to shampoo somebody's head.
Yeah,
In general, kind of describing it, I guess.
Yeah. Nah, you're absolutely right. With the particular people who they're speaking of that they're proposing do not have to have a license in order to be employed.
Yeah.
They talk about, the bill talks about reducing hours for cosmetologists for those particular type of services, shampooing and doing some hair drying and styling, and reducing those hours needed to work in the shop to like 300 hours, and most of that is pretty much based on sanitation and health issues and stuff like that.
Because everybody should still get the sanitization side
Right.
of things, or sanitation. I don't know what you're supposed to say.
Yeah,
but everybody should still get that, no matter what you're doing, even if you're just doing a shampoo, if you're just shampooing people.
Right.
So I agree with this bill, but there's also a lot of misinformation going around saying that we won't have to do
as a barber
a license, period. When you're using a straight razor, you still will need to be licensed for that. You still will need to go to school for that.
Yeah, I mean, from my understanding and from looking at the bill and interpreting it, it doesn't relieve barbers at all.
Not at all.
From having to have a license to
Barber
work.
schools will still be in business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You still need to go to school, get a license, whether you go to school or be an apprentice. And they also speak about, there's some articles out there that I've read that speak about people being in the entertainment industry that may be able to do makeup without don't need a license to do certain makeup jobs and stuff like that.
Yeah. But still need that 300 hours or no? Is that
from my understanding, they probably would still need 300 hours for the sanitation
which
part
is
of
fair.
it.
Yeah, I think that's completely makes sense.
Yeah,
to be able to still do that. Yeah.
I mean, what do you think would do it to our industry if we didn't have to have a license at all?
I mean, I think it's already a big enough problem with there still be requirements on it, So I've seen statistics saying like almost up to 45 or 50% of barbers in Atlanta, Atlanta I'm speaking on, don't even have a license already. So they fighting that battle against the 50% of barbers that already don't have a license or didn't go to school or anything like that. And I don't know if it would just make it easier on them to not have to enforce that through the state board. Cause I don't know what the motivation would be for them to take that away.
Yeah,
but that's not a motivation because it's not happening. There's misinformation going around saying like barber or cosmetologist won't need a license.
Yeah.
But there's still a lot of services that a normal barber provides that you will need to be licensed for. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
And
What do you think?
As far as,
do you think this bill is good or no? For what it's stating, what we've actually looked into and seen the information from?
Yeah, from what I've seen, man.
Because the sanitization should be included. Every barber should know about that. Period. I was cutting before going to school, and I had no idea about all the different little things about sanitization, what you could really transfer disease-wise and stuff like that.
Right.
So I think after going to school and seeing that, there's no way I would sit in somebody's chair who don't understand those things, you know?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
What's your opinion?
Nah, my opinion is similar to yours. I feel like it's absolutely necessary for our profession to be required to be licensed. Just, not only for the sanitation issues, but for the professionalism.
For sure. Yeah.
We've talked about hospitality before. We talked about customer service. Just to be able to respect your profession, like other people respect their profession, and to have clients respect you as a professional.
Yeah.
I think license is very necessary. I don't see why it would be such an uproar. Like, of course,
I think those people, this uproar and holding signs in front of the Congress,
that's what I'm trying to figure out.
They haven't read the bill. Like that's how it's seen.
You think that they just out there without having?
I mean, if you're in an uproar over this, then you obviously haven't broke it down and really went through it. I would be mad if I went to school and they completely took that away, but that's not what they're doing through this bill, you know?
Yeah, so that's. I mean, I haven't seen any evidence. Maybe somebody can actually send us a document if you have documents or whatever.
Yeah.
Outlining the evidence where it clearly says that barbers performing straight razor services, or cosmetologists doing whatever, using kind of some chemicals and stuff. It's not gonna use, not gonna be required to have any license.
Because I would be scared to walk into a barbershop if that's what, like, if I wouldn't want to come in if I could risk getting an HIV through a clipper. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yes.
Or I could get my hair burnt off while I'm getting a service. Yeah.
Burnt out from a relaxer.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Something like that.
You need to understand all this stuff to be a professional in it,
Yeah.
You don't get that understanding through just cutting hair, You got to go to school, or in your case, be an apprentice, learn from somebody who's been through that book and stuff,
Yeah.
Even that first chapter in the book is the history of barbering. I think that's a big thing that if you didn't go to school, you wouldn't know about. Like, we used to be like bloodletting, all that stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. With the pole meetings and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
It gives you a sense of pride of what you do, and it gives you a sense of
you an expert, versus just a client who just walks in. Like, they don't know that stuff,
Yeah.
It's a difference between cutting hair and being a barber. I think you could relate it back to that. Cutting hair, you're just good at fading, whatever. I mean, that's cool, but a barber understands and wants to learn and be passionate about his craft. So I think there's a big difference.
Yeah. You think a lot is more, and this might have zero relevance to it, but like, it's more cosmetologists and more people who are working in maybe the entertainment industry, things like that are more upset and uproar of because of the changes that are being made, or you think just as many barbers are as...
I can only speak on barbers because that's what I follow on Instagram to
Right.
see how people are reacting to this in the
So
first
what
place.
do you think the sentiment is they're happy about the situation or they are upset? Because the people that we see on in the articles that has the flag or
Hmm.
that's in front of the Capitol
Protesting,
protesting,
yeah.
they seem to be upset about the situation. So you think barbers are upset or they see this as a opportunity or a sign of relief?
I think it depends on if you've been to school or not, or if
Oh,
you put
facts,
the money into the apprenticeship already. I'm
facts.
gonna be mad as hell if nobody has to be a barber anymore, or nobody has to go to barber school anymore and pay that good chunk of money
Money,
in order
yeah,
to. Because I didn't have to do that, but I don't think that's not what they're saying. So
yeah. All right, well, you know, we wanted to get on here and
set
discuss
the
it.
facts straight.
And if y'all have any information or any comments, why
Open
you
discussion in the
yeah
comment section.
yeah, open
Yeah, for
discussion in the
sure.
comment
Yeah,
section. Leave us a comment
most
or a
definitely.
note, and we'll be happy to discuss the topic with y'all.
Talk about it again too after this. If we
Yeah,
get checked
yeah.
and we're in the wrong, then
Now we're gonna talk about
oh yeah, yeah,
your
yeah.
New Orleans creases.
Hold on.
Look, you got the creases in his
Fresh,
jeans.
fresh, fresh, fresh.